Welcome along. Council houses in Britain should go to British people first. Brits should be at the top of the queue. Social housing should not be going to people who can't speak a word of English and who clearly haven't integrated. British taxpayers are right to feel like they're at the back of the queue, being asked to pay for everybody else who's gone before them. Step forward, Westminster Council, who released this video to tell people about changes to social housing. Just tell me what you notice here.
نقوم في بلدية ويستمنستر حالياً بتغيير طريقة عمل الإسكان الاجتماعي.
আমরা আপনার জানাতাম স্যার যে ওয়েস্টমিনস্টার কাউন্সিল আমরা হাউজিং রেজিস্টার সিস্টেম রে বদলাইতাম আপনারা লাগি সহজ করবার লাগি
Nous changeons la manière dont nous attribuons les logements sociaux à Westminster.
What does that tell you about the people who are getting social housing in Britain right now? They're not British, are they? The average rent in Westminster is apparently £3,154 a month. You probably couldn't afford to live there, who can really? But you are paying for it. You're paying for foreign nationals who can't speak a word of English to live there. 48% of all social housing in London is taken up by foreign nationals. 72% of Somalis in Britain live in social housing. That's 4 times higher than the wider population. This has been going on for years. A Somali family on benefits were handed a £2 million luxury house in Islington back in 2017. At the time, it would have cost £6,000 a month to rent that. They got it with welfare for £1,000. Labour's Westminster Council actually deleted that video that I just showed you there. They say it's because it didn't convey their ideal message. I actually think it did. They care more about people who can't speak English than they do about hard-working taxpayers. And what about veterans? Veteran homelessness rose by 14% last year. Apparently, there are more than 2,000 homeless servicemen and women right now. We could house them overnight if we wanted to, but no. We should be prioritising people like this. A Sudanese refugee family who has lived in Britain for 5 years were complaining about having to move accommodation. Do you know how they expressed their concern? Through the medium of their 9-year-old son, who they had to use as an interpreter because presumably they can't speak English. 5 years they've been here. Guess what? We're going to get a lot more of this, aren't we? Because Angela Rayner ditched plans to prioritise British nationals for social housing. Oh, and in other news that's broken in the past hour, now try not to scream too much at your television, Britain is now the Western capital for Sharia courts. We now have 85 Sharia courts, which I think is just another example of how integration is failing. More on the old Sharia court saga later in the show. I've said it before, I'll say it again. When Labour tell you that you can't oppose housing developments in your village or town and they want to build their 1.5 million homes, what they're not telling you is who they're going to put in those homes. Let's get a thought to my panel this evening.